Chapter 9. Unwelcome Home. Vines curtained the entrance as Zaroth touched the stone and spoke one word.
Light.
An orb of light bloomed before him and drifted into the ruins beneath Tyric. He ducked through the narrow opening and followed it into the damp dark.
Haven't been back here in a while. Time's been kinder to this place than to me.
The tunnel twisted, then widened into a main hall. Polished stone blocks caught the light with a dead, glassy sheen. No human mason had shaped walls like these. Zaroth ran his fingers over the stone and felt old craft still sleeping there. He remembered how long it had taken to raise this stronghold.
You were beautiful once. Still are in places.
He moved on until the hall forked.
Oh, this fork again.
He glanced right, remembered what had once hunted there, and chose caution.
Left it is. If it's still alive, it's earned the right to be avoided.
He turned left. After a short way, he stopped, pulled back his hood, and listened. The ruins were quiet, but not empty. Zaroth unhooked a pouch, drew out a vial of crushed red gemstones, and sprinkled a line of dust across the floor.
Let's see who's waiting for the old fool.
He whispered an enchantment. The dust flashed, smoked, and a perfect copy of Zaroth appeared several paces ahead. Zaroth followed behind his double toward the next fork, then produced a crystal disc etched with runes. He cupped the disc and focused. A narrow flame sprang up, cycled through colors, and settled into violet, pointing down the right-hand passage.
This way, then. It won't be long now until I find the fragment, and by Dominia's ghost, I am not losing this one.
He had spent months chasing this shard and years hunting the others. 150 fragments of cursed onyx had been scattered long ago, and whenever one surfaced, trouble followed. There was the farmer who made a cloak clasp from one. For 2 weeks, he could not lose a wager. Then, after one last lucky hand, angry townsmen chased him into the woods. The farmer vanished, and so did the stone. Stories like that trailed nearly every fragment. Ordinary people found them, prized them, changed under them, then disappeared before Zaroth could reclaim them. Recently, only 2 pieces remained known to him. One sat with a noblewoman in the capital. The other pulsed here, in the ruins he thought he knew best. The disc's flame suddenly shivered from violet to blue, green, then a stubborn red. It flickered faster and faster, as if the fragment were moving or being moved.
That's not how you're meant to behave.
He put the disc away, drew a sigil in the air, and let invisibility slide over him. The light orb winked out. Only the false Zaroth remained lit, walking ahead as bait. Invisible, the real wizard moved behind it and listened. At first there was nothing. Then a faint brush of cloth against stone, not ahead but behind. Another whisper came from his left.
Come on, then. Take the bait.
A small crack sounded in the dark. Then another, closer. Zaroth gathered a harsher spell in one hand and waited. The noise stopped. A soft puff of air kissed the corridor. Something stung his chest.
Ah.
Instinct answered first. Lightning burst from his hands and flooded the passage blue-white. His illusion dissolved in the blast. The bolts struck only stone.
Light.
The orb returned. Zaroth looked down at a tiny dart jutting from his robe.
Poison. Goblins, of course.
He yanked it free, but already his fingers had gone clumsy. Small shapes flashed on the walls, then vanished. His knees buckled. Darkness took him. Cold stone pressed against Zaroth's cheek as he woke. Torchlight flickered over rough cave walls, iron bars, and the grime beneath him. Then the smell struck him. Goblins, mildew, smoke, and filth thick as dragon dung. Zaroth grimaced and forced his eyes open. This was not part of the ruins beneath Tyric. The walls were natural rock, wet and jagged. The floor sloped unevenly. He was in the caves beyond the old stronghold, or near enough. Strangest of all, he was caged, but not bound. His skull pounded. Even thought hurt. He raised one hand and tried the smallest light spell.
Just a spark.
The first whispered syllable brought blinding pain. It tore through his head so sharply he nearly fell.
Ah, curse it.
The poison they used on you stops magic, wizard. The voice came from the next cell, low and worn thin. Zaroth gripped the bars and peered through. An elf hung in chains in the neighboring alcove, wrists, ankles, and chest shackled to the stone. Bruises darkened his face. Weariness clung to him like a second set of irons.
So it is poison, not merely age. Who are you?
A prisoner of the Dakar tribe, as are you. Who asks?
Zaroth. And you? I thought your people kept to Terrazaz, far to the west.
We do. Or did, until one of our own betrayed us to these vermin. He spat weakly at the floor. My hunting party is dead. They tortured me for information. I gave them none. Soon they mean to offer me to Castor, the demon they serve. After that, perhaps they eat us both.
A delightful custom.
Kura ignored the dry remark. We came hunting an enemy of the elven people, a rotting thing once called Marcus.
You followed him all this way?
For months. I am Kura, captain of the king's elite hunters. For a moment, there was only dripping water and the clink of chains. Enjoy what time remains, human. This place is not kind to prisoners. Zaroth checked his sash and found his main pouch was missing.
As expected.
You don't think they would leave you with anything that you could use, do you?
Yes, I suppose you're right.
He slipped 2 fingers into his sleeve and drew out a hidden packet sewn into the lining. Inside lay a sliver of banali root. Zaroth chewed it. Bitter juice flooded his mouth, and little by little the pounding in his head eased.
It's a good thing I always keep a little banali root on me for emergencies.
He sat back against the wall and forced himself to breathe slowly. If magic was barred, then patience would have to serve. Before long, heavy steps echoed down the passage. A band of goblins entered, broad for their kind, clad in crude leather and bronze, rusted swords hanging at their sides. They took position beside Kura's cell. Behind them came a cloaked figure. The goblins gave way at once. Zaroth kept still and watched through lowered eyes as the figure stopped before the elf.
So, you fell neatly into our trap.
Kura answered in Elven, the words sharp with contempt.
Come now, Kura. Turnabout is fair play.
Kura gave him back a look of pure contempt. Do whatever you wish, Marcus. You'll never get anything out of me. The cloaked figure bent closer.
We'll see, old friend. After we end you and offer your soul to Castor, I'm gonna take your head and send it back to your father.
One day, Marcus, my people will catch you and my father will finish what he started the last time you two met. How's the face? Feeling any better? That struck home. With a hiss of anger, Marcus threw back his hood. What had once been a man was now something caught between life and death. His face was burned and rotted to the bone, a skull wrapped in scraps of flesh, eyes sitting bare in ruined sockets.
Your father cursed me into this state, living enough to suffer, dead enough to endure. He will pay for every breath I draw.
Fitting. Everything you touch withers. Now your face matches your soul. Marcus stiffened.
Gloat while you can. Soon your soul will buy favor with gods you fear.
Ku-Ra jerked against his chains. You will never have power enough to break my people. Marcus reached beneath his cloak and drew out a necklace. A silver ring held an onyx sphere the size of an eye on a leather string.
With this, I will have more than enough. I will see your people kneel. Then I will burn Terrazaz to ash.
Zaroth felt his breath catch.
The fragment.
So it was here, one piece of the cursed artifact, hanging at Marcus's throat. Marcus lowered the relic, drew up his hood, and turned away. The goblins followed him out, leaving torch smoke and silence behind. Zaroth said nothing more. Even weakened, he knew better than to lunge for such a thing. He was in no state to seize it. Unfortunately, he was still too weak to take it for himself. It was just as well. He would prefer, for the moment, not to have direct contact with the cursed item. The fragments were said to be able to corrupt even the most powerful beings. For now, it would be best to bide his time, to wait and regain his strength. I do not know what brought you here, Zaroth. But this journey will be your last. What did you come seeking? Was it worth your life? The elf's voice had gone hoarse with fatigue.
I came looking for something important.
Then it is a pity you will never find it.
Oh, I don't know about that. You never know how things are going to turn out.
Ku-Ra's head sank. Looking over at the opposite cell, Zaroth saw that the elf had passed out and hadn't heard a word he'd said.
Yes, one can never tell what fate has planned.